our problem into fame and fortune. I'm Aaron Gore, certified Cicerone and man wearing a lion shirt.
I love it. That's
a Jamaican lion.
Yeah, I love it.
It's not a Jamaican lion, it's from a
Jamaican me lion.
Something like that.
I don't
That's
get
it. We're never ever doing the show again.
Should we just like
I'm Josh Hayward.
Keep it running.
I'm Josh Hayward from Biere with Brewpreneur and Proud American.
Hey, I'm Stephanie Hudson. I run a marketing company called Sweet Tea Craft Marketing where I help put butts on bar stools. Hopefully not ones that are wobbly like the one I'm on right now.
Nice.
Wait,
And
you
I also
came prepared with like a full like rundown of what you do?
Every time.
Yeah, she's good at this.
Yeah.
You should hire her.
put butts on bar stools.
She sounds
guys.
very capable.
Yeah.
There's not nearly enough beer to get us through this episode.
Yeah.
Aaron,
So what do
what's
we
your
got?
story? Did you tell your story, Aaron?
No, you didn't. What's your story?
I talk about beer to people who
lot.
make beer and convince them they should be doing other things with their beer.
Like sell more of it.
When I said parlaying my problem into fame and fortune, I meant
That was it. Put a nice bow on it.
Oh man, so what are we drinking today,
Beer!
Josh?
Got a Wiseman.
Yes, with friends!
Yay!
Got a nice gamut from Wiseman Brewing Company out of Winston Salem, North Carolina. Quite a good range of beers here. We got a Kellerbier with rye, a Biere de Mar, and this one is mango. I was gonna say mango tango foxtrot. Mango tangerine milkshake IPA.
I literally don't know what any of those things are.
This will be great.
You don't know what mangoes are?
I don't know what all those things together are. I
Have
know
you
the
ever-
individual
Have
words.
you ever had a milkshake IPA? Oh, this is gonna be fun.
This
It's
is
gonna be
definitely
great.
going to be fun. But we're going to start off on the lighter side with this Kellerbier with rye. This is Higher
know what that
Revelation.
is.
5.4% alcohol. Some background on Wiseman Brewing. Like I said, they are up in the Winston-Salem area, just northeast of
NC.
Charlotte, where we're based out of. Fantastic
Josh, did you just
brewery.
look at your shirt to see if you were representing North Carolina beer?
No.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that was an awfully specific amount of like what you thought he was
I
trying
did,
to do.
yeah. Sorry.
It's like you could just be looking at your shirt.
I
but
think that's
are
just
you
my
spec-
neck, the fact that I
Look,
can't move it.
Poor Josh. Has a
Yeah,
sore
Josh's neck
today.
is still in pain. This is a continuing issue. We're going to get him a nice little neck brace. We're all going to sign it. It'll be wonderful.
Oh yeah.
Great. Or just drink a lot of beer and you'll forget you
Yeah,
have
That'll
it.
make it all better. I
So
love
this
the name of this
Please
beer.
explain.
Higher Revolution.
Yeah, so all of
What
the,
a
Revelation.
Keller.
so a Kellerbier.
Yeah.
So this one's actually a collaboration with Mason Jar Lager Company, which is out of the Triangle area, that Raleigh-Durham area. They're an all-lager brewery. Kellerbier, it's kind of a broad description, but if you really want to break it down, it's basically like a hazy Pilsner is a good way of looking at it.
Okay.
So an unfiltered Pilsner. So they tend to be a little fuller in body. Sometimes they'll be a little higher in alcohol than a traditional Pilsner, but other than that, just
What's this one?
refreshing, bright.
Hit me.
This is 5.4% alcohol.
Oh.
I feel like we should be drinking them out of mason jars. Being this a
Would be
collab.
kind
I
of
know.
a
Collaboration with the Mason Jar Lager Company. What a cute name.
Nice.
It is kind of adorable.
Very southern. Where did you say they're in the Triangle?
They're in the Triangle area, yeah. I think they're in Durham, but yeah, they're up in that vicinity. Wiseman
Cute.
themselves, as far as the names are concerned on all of these beers, all of their names come from famous quotes. And they always write them right along the top. So if you could actually
Oh,
start
yeah.
over here.
Got it. Music is a higher revelation than all wisdom and philosophy.
Ludwig van Beethoven.
I think she would have gotten to it.
That's all right. We can share. It's fine. 5.4% and 31 IBUs.
What do you think of the can there? As far
I
as
like
how they have it laid out. and
So,
everything?
Aaron was sharing before we went live that they've templated their labels now because of COVID. There's more canning, so they're having to crank them out, and it's a really smart idea. This is a very popular labeling theme style where you just change the color to denote a different type of beer and a different name
Really
and all
makes
of that
them pop,
stuff.
too.
And it makes them easily recognizable on the shelf. It makes it easy to differentiate between them. It's brilliant for a lower cost, like a lower barrier to entry and all that. So I'm all for it.
And right off the bat, you can tell that these are both by the same company, but
Right.
you can also tell that they're very different beers right off the bat.
Yeah, this one is a different one. It doesn't have that same theme going on, but still you can identify that it is from Wiseman. They have a very ornate logo.
For sure.
Yeah, it's
That's not
definitely-
usually my favorite thing, but they make it work.
And it pops, and it
does.
kind of fits their theme. It's
It
all
does.
wise people and sage advice and
That's what I was about to
literature.
say.
and-
Are all,
It
the, all the
almost-
quotes from Wiseman?
It looks to me a little bit like old-timey circus kind of.
That's
thing.
all I'm going to be able to see now.
Yeah,
Yes, Wiseman Brothers,
Like,
sponsored by Ringling
I
Brewing.
almost feel like we're actually filming here at Sugar Creek Brewing in Charlotte, North Carolina, and I almost feel like the Sugar Creek vibe is a little bit like that too, right? Like a little circusy, a little bit of a fair, a little bit
like,
sort of
like
that
very
sort of
upscale, but in a tongue-in-cheek kind of
like
throwback, super
not
vintage.
throwback, but like a callback to the
Yeah.
vintage kind of carnival
see
kind
that.
of thing or something.
Carnival.
Just a little bit carny.
Its small hands smell like cabbage.
Nice reference. Nice reference. Well done there.
Oh, that's too funny.
I haven't even tasted this yet.
Yeah, I don't think that any of us
Cheers.
have. We've taken a whiff of it, and that rye
Oh,
comes
and there's
through
Bob.
right off.
Bob's here again.
Yep, Bob the fruit fly's back.
He lives in our show now.
Yeah, that rye comes through right on the nose. Now,
Is
you're
that what
mostly
I'm
going to get
smelling?
the malt.
Yeah,
Most of
that's
it's going to
what
be
you
the Pilsner malt, so you're going to get some of those crackery notes.
Title.
And noble hops, you're going to get some of the light grassy, slightly herbal kind
Herbally?
of aromas. Herbally. Don't know how to spell that either.
This is interesting. I haven't had a lot of beers like this.
Yeah.
So it's actually got just a touch of like fruity notes, like almost like a like hint of green apple skin, which is also pretty
Green apple skin. That's a good
So
descriptor.
specific.
Also pretty specific on Kellerbiers. They were typically served young, so rather than lagering them long term, even though they use a lager yeast, they tended to be put out when they were still relatively fresh before they'd had a chance to clean up all of those things that would normally be considered off flavors. So you could say this is kind of a green tasting beer, a young tasting beer, and that's what that kind of green
I've
apple
seen
note
that. It
is.
does taste a little green.
And it does make it even more refreshing in some ways and kind of perfect for the
Wonder
weather
what
that we're
color
having, 'cause
these
it's
ones will
hot
taste.
in the south.
It is hot.
Bready notes, light hint of caramel, and then definitely the sharp rye taste too.
Yeah, you definitely get a little of the spiciness with the rye. It's not overpowering though. It definitely
nice
complements everything
that.
else. They're on the same page. Because rye can definitely go way strong, way
For sure.
spicy, and I love that character. But especially on something super refreshing like this, it can tend to kind of add kind of a feel of heaviness.
You got to really know what you're doing, and I feel like they did a good job with it. For being a lighter beer and incorporating the rye, it didn't overpower it.
This one tastes like not as fizzy to me, not as fuzzy. It's like
This is
almost a
among
little.
our less fuzzy beers.
It is. It's almost.
We need a chart.
a little.
Like
I need to add that. Let's
Not too fuzzy. It's almost smooth.
the fuzzy meter.
Yeah. Smooth. It's almost like a little flat, not flat, like, but flatter.
Tell me more.
You
Can
know,
you unpack that?
like there's bubbles.
It's not super carbonated.
Yeah.
or-
Like if it's been sitting on a while, like something that's fuzzy,
Yeah.
will be a little flatter.
I'll take your word for it.
Oh,
No,
so you
it's a
heard it
little
here first,
flatter.
ladies and gentlemen. Kellerbier is less fuzzy.
That's fuzzy.
It's a little flatter, like
It's
flatter,
definitely-
not flatter in like the taste of it, like flatter like if you left a pop sitting out.
Yeah, and it definitely is like a pop sitting out. You can tell you're from the Pittsburgh area. It's
For
a
those
pop.
of you who are watching this in the South, if you leave a
Soda.
Coke or
A
a
Coke.
Pepsi sitting out,
And for those of you in the rest of the world, a soda.
soda, a pop.
Like it goes a little flat, and that's kind of how this is, but not like in a bad way. Like I don't
Right.
want to say like it's falling flat. It's not like an insult. It just doesn't have as much effervescence.
That's it. That's a little bit better.
Yeah, you kind of got the impression, I think, of what you're
Don't you guys
saying.
think so? You don't think that tastes a little flatter than the other?
It's
ones
definitely
are
not super carbonated. Like for one, like you typically expect of like a pilsner. It's not
That's
quite
a good
as
point.
effervescent. And honestly, I don't think it necessarily takes away, but it does contribute to making this feel a little heavier than probably
Sure.
beer is. I wouldn't necessarily be drinking this as a poolside beer, maybe
Right.
more like a barbecue beer. I think this would go awesome
It would
with
go
brats.
really good with barbecue.
Yeah. Barbecue,
Nice pulled
brats,
pork.
yeah, anything like just off the grill or off the smoker.
This would go
I think
really
would be
good with that kind of
fantastic.
stuff. Yeah.
Rye usually does go well with it, smoked meat, at least in my experience.
I think rye goes well with anything.
Anything.
Like rye bread, rye beer. Rye is just
Rye
beautiful
whiskey?
company.
No,
rye whiskey.
Oh, you like rye whiskey?
Oh yes, it's the only
I
way to
know
make
you
it.
do,
It's
but
the
I
only way
don't-
to make a proper.
If I'm going
old-fashioned.
to drink spirits and I don't drink like hard liquor very often at
Right.
all,
Hard liquor?
I'm weak that way. Then it's usually going to be either rye or scotch. It's one of the two. Almost never bourbon. Bourbon's too sweet for me. So we should do a whole show of nothing but bourbon, and then this will be like the inverse of the normal levels.
No, it will not. I still won't know anything about it.
I will
just
be
know
drunk
about-
quick. I can drink these all day. One whiff of whiskey, and I'm pretty much on my ass. So, well, yeah, that was
Down the
delicious.
hatch. Next
Yeah.
up.
And it's nice to see an all lager brewery and a brewery that does both ales and lagers really collaborate and doing something nice together.
Good stuff. Very good. All right, we've got the Wonders Told Bière de Mar. I can't say I know a ton about Bière de Mar. I hear that it's
Otherwise known as Bière de Mars.
French term for beer of March.
Yes. So
Thank you.
Bière de Mar is it's beer. March beer is basically what it translates to. Essentially, if you really want to break it down, it's basically a higher alcohol version of Bière de Garde. So
Okay.
they're traditionally brewed in March to over summer and then be ready to drink in the fall for the harvest.
A
That
bridge
way they-
beer
basically
of the seasons, bridge of the seasons.
Usually you'd let it ferment over the bridge and seasons,
Wait.
and then you'd have a whole bunch of drunk farm
So
hands
it's
trying to
called-
harvest in the fall.
Wait, it's called Beer of March, and you drink it in the fall?
Yes, that's also where the name
Marzen
Marzen
beer,
comes
yeah,
from. So
yeah.
Marzen in German means March, and they traditionally brewed it in March to drink in the fall around
Thank you,
harvest.
friend.
Which is part of how it became associated with the Oktoberfest festival, which is
It's when
conveniently
you crack
in
them open.
October.
Yep.
I thought it was in September.
It's usually the last week of September into early October, but in that vicinity
Come
there.
on. Everybody who named these things was drunk.
I wonder why.
Full many a wonder is told us in stories old. From
the
Good luck.
Oh, crap. I really should not have jumped in on that.
Nibelunglied, Epic of Germany.
It's actually pretty close to spot on.
I was digging deep for my phonics, digging real deep. But
The national epic of Germany. Everybody can pronounce
You
that,
start
right?
going to other
I was
languages and
digging
phonics
deep for
don't
my
always help.
phonics.
Listen, we're all just making this up. We're gonna get some angry letters from German viewers. You
7.2
mispronounce every word.
7.2% ABV and 29 IBUs. So higher alcohol content, but less IBUs in this one.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So historically, Bière de Mar were actually made from the second and third runnings of Lambic
read
mash.
that, yeah.
So they wind up actually. That died off as a style. You also see Mertz is another style, and Faro is another style that derive from very much the same thing. So you make lambic when you have the grain left over, you fill it back up with water, let it soak out some more sugars, turn it into beer.
That's what I was about to jump to.
Yeah.
For those of you guys who don't know what runnings are, you fill up your mash tun with water. You have your first runnings, which is usually what beer is made from. And these, that second and third runnings, you fill it up again. You're getting less sugar, a little bit more diluted.
I feel like the only person who's finding this more clear is me, but I actually thought that was a pretty good breakdown. But no, so that
This
style
is
actually died off.
delicious.
It is fantastic. So this is actually, I'll admit, I've had this one before. I actually requested they give me some more, mostly by having them send me a whole case of it, because this is a fantastic beer.
when
with
you're
flavor.
Aaron Gore, you don't go buy beer, you request it.
I sent a request in.
Look at
Thank you,
this.
Scott.
I know, I was just going to
Thank
comment
you,
on
Sam.
that.
As a sign of the times, this is in the Wiseman Brewing SDS, Social Distancing Series. We'll have to get a close-up of
What
that
about
later.
that, huh? I
Because
just saw
social
that too. Is
distancing
it on
feels a
that
lot
one as
better.
well?
We're
I
not
assume it's
social
on that one.
distancing.
This
now,
one,
but
they
it's all
replaced
good.
that logo with the Mason jar logo. But
Oh, okay.
same concept. It is part of the same series, I
Say,
believe.
I missed it.
But yeah, so Bière de Mar, that original version of the second runnings of Lambic died off the late 1800s, early 1900s. And then second half of the 1900s, this started popping up with that same kind of name, basically taking a note from the book of Bière de Garde, which traditionally was brewed in the spring for the fall, and just upping that alcohol a little more.
Nice.
So Bière de Mar, they're super rare. You can find a handful in France. You can find a handful by craft brewers, but certainly not a common style.
I love that, seeing a non-common style be put out in the market.
It's a bold move and
It
a
is
brave move.
really tasty.
It
and
is.
It's very
Very-
different to me.
yeah, it's
What's the
very-
smell though? I can't identify it.
It's light but full of flavor.
Yes.
It's almost like my mind has a trick plate on it.
It's
Yeah.
super flavorful, you guys.
So
You should try
the
this.
notes on the nose are mostly coming from the yeast. So I don't know specifically what yeast they use on here, but I'd say it's probably a Belgian
Wait.
strain.
They just say
So,
the hops.
yeah, it'll
They
give
say
You get a
It's-
little bit of that clove,
Is
Is
it
a
it
little bit of that
Saz or
peppery.
Saz?
Zotz, actually. It's Czech.
How many languages on one label?
Zotz and Safer.
Safer.
Yeah.
This I can read, and I don't know why this is over in this other weird little spot. It says ale brewed with lemon zest.
Yeah, so spices are also very common to be used in a lot of Belgian and
Is
even
lemon
French
considered a spice?
brewing. Lemon zest is technically a spice.
Okay.
So yeah, lemon zest will give you not so much of that sharp lemon note that a lot of people associate when they think lemon. It's a little more bitter, a little oily, and it does have those citrus notes, but it's not going to be nearly so bright and acidic to your nose.
So why would they put that all the way over here? Oops, I spilled some.
Just to make you look for it. And
They
clearly
ran
it
out of
worked.
real estate.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot on that. They had to go through like 4 languages.
That's true, they did.
So
I
love
really
this
like
one.
that they have the quotes on them. That's really
Yeah.
cool.
It is, and they do it for all of
Distinguishing
them.
factor for a brewery. It's
It
good.
keeps a nice theme as well.
I like
Leads
that.
to some really nice names. And this was such a good foodie beer as well. It just is, most Belgian styles and French styles go really well with food. This one is just so well balanced. It's got some
That's a
good
great
malt
beer.
character in there without being malty or caramely. It's got a touch of those hops, which will give you kind of a peppery herbal note. And then it has just a touch of citrus and clove and even a hint of banana from the actual yeast.
What?
or lemon
Oh my
zest.
God, you're right.
Yeah.
It's almost like I do this for a living.
Look at that.
Like I would never have picked banana.
So they had a rough
But
time selling all of this beer, which is a damn shame. And I
It
think part of
really
it is
is.
just a less known style.
Sure.
This is one of my favorite things Wiseman
Do
has
they
done.
still have more left? 'Cause could you
no, I think
request
they
a few
finally
for me?
sold out, but
He
I'll
used
see
the-
what I can
He
do.
used the last cases.
Oh man.
But no, it is absolutely fantastic. I think it's a good lesson too for people who, just because you see a style and you don't necessarily know what it is.
Try it.
And honestly, beer's not that expensive a luxury, guys. Like even an expensive 4-pack of beer, if you're paying like $20, which is crazy high for beer, is in the grand scheme of things not a huge risk.
Right.
And
Says the guy who gets it for free.
If you don't
So-
like
says the
it,
guy who gets it for free.
if you don't like it, trade it. You know. But
So-
you've taken the risk to try something you may not have had
and you
before.
might discover something wonderful like this. And a beer like this shouldn't be hard to sell. Beer like this should
Would
be
I be
flying off
wrong
the shelves.
if I wanted to drink this with some chocolate cake?
So here's the thing about food and beer pairing. There's no wrong
Yes, there
answer,
are.
but that one's wrong.
Sometimes there are.
That's good.
I wouldn't say, as long as it wasn't something super rich, I don't think that would be over the top. If you had like a chocolate mousse or something, would be very,
Or like
very nice.
dark chocolate. I don't know why. Like I'm not very good
Dark
at
chocolate would
pairings.
also be pretty good. Anything.
What would
where-
you pair with this?
With this,
You
I'd
always
probably
come up
do-
with the most random
Yeah,
like
I'm-
things that nobody eats.
I'd probably actually do this with like a roast chicken.
Oh,
or-
and the most boring thing ever. Right when I said you never pick anything normal.
I would do this with chicken provençal.
Yeah, there you go. Now
with
we're getting
olives and sliced cherry tomatoes.
Really? Like you would just do this with just regular roast chicken?
This with chicken, I think, would pair beautifully. That light malty note pairs well with the roasted, kind of rich quality of roasted chicken skin, like the outside of that roasted chicken.
I'd almost
the
go
herbal
with even
notes
more
would
of
go
like
really,
the roast
really well with
veggies
those
or
just
something, or
spicy
some
notes.
herbs.
Yeah, you could do.
This with like artichokes would be fantastic, or not artichokes or asparagus is the other one that pops out to me because asparagus benefits so well from like lemon, anyways, when you're doing any sort of cooking. So being able to pair something that has
food
kind of
pairings
a
are my
light,
favorite part of all
citrusy,
this.
slightly spicy note with something that is so herbal and kind of sulfury in and of itself, I think would go well. Basically, any sulfury green vegetable.
There's a sweetness to this.
There is just a touch of sweetness to
From
it.
that malt, I think.
Yeah, it doesn't finish super dry. It's not sweet.
I think
but
that's
it does
maybe
have
why I
some
thought
nice.
it would go better with like a dessert than like a dinner.
And there are some desserts this would probably go really well with, like a vanilla ice cream would actually be beautiful with this.
Oh, it would.
Yeah.
I'll make a float out of that.
Yes.
Dude, I've done
I'll
that.
make a float with wonders told. That's
so
great.
when I got into the beer industry, one of the first beers I had to sell on a large scale was actually a vanilla milk stout. And I literally would just go into places and I'd take ice cream with me and make beer floats with the ice cream. And sold
That's good.
so much beer
That's
to
good.
drunks with sweet tooths.
Mm-hmm.
It's fantastic.
I love the name of this beer because I mean it actually is a wonder. Honestly, it's
It is.
you're aside from you because you're more familiar with it. I was completely taken aback when I tasted it because
Me too.
from what I saw and from what I smelled, I was expecting something, but then the taste was very different, and it's incredible.
It's a
great
truly
beer.
unique experience. And I feel the same way about Biere de Garde, which is
Did you
basically
expect
just this,
banana?
No, I did get some of those yeasty type notes. I got some more of the pepperiness.
To be fair, it doesn't taste like a banana. It doesn't taste like banana.
No. It's
like when you drink it, somebody says the word banana, you're
It's
like,
yeah, and traditional beer de gardes and traditional bière de mar, typically you won't have that banana note. Usually it'll be a little more like black peppery. And just
that's
a touch
completely different. than
clovey
banana.
still. Yeah, so it depends on what yeast you're
What's
using.
beer
This
de
would be-
garde you keep talking about?
So beer de garde is another style. It's a little more common. Actually, Sugar Creek Brewing, where we're at right now, does a fantastic beer de garde.
What does
We had
garde
the
mean?
beer de garde and
Garde means keeping.
past
so
episode,
beer
too.
for keeping.
We
is-
did? I should go watch
the
that.
mushroom beer.
Yeah, that was actually a beer de garde.
Oh, the
So,
mushroom
yes.
beer.
Yeah.
That was super interesting.
And that
too.
was
I
actually-
like beer de things.
Yeah.
Beer de things. I love it.
I know we swore we weren't going to do it, but that's the episode name. Beer to things. Yeah, so a beer de garde is typically going to be basically like, if you think of a saison, they tend to be maltier saisons with a lower hopping rate. So they tend to be less hoppy, a little more malty, but a lot of those same kind of farmhousey
Note
notes
to
to
self,
them.
let's do a saison.
And a beer de
episode.
mar is just that, but turned up. That would actually be an awesome episode.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so the Bière de garde is another just fantastic food beer style, and it's one that you'll have a little easier time finding. It's still super rare, but I highly recommend people, if you've never gotten a chance to try one, definitely look them up. They are spectacular.
Do you guys want to move on to number 3?
I think it's about time.
We're gonna take
Bottoms
a
up.
hard left to get to this beer. You're going from a beer de mar to
From something super
to
traditional.
a milkshake IPA. Oh yeah, that's not even a
Blissed
hard
out.
left. That's a complete U-turn.
It's called Blissed Out Mango Tanger.
Mango Tangeray.
Mango Tango Foxtrot.
They drop a shot of gin in every 6-pack.
That's what I said. This sounds like he should have read this one. Mango Tangerine. Tangerine. I don't know why your mic has to go. All right.
That's okay, we're not recording anything right now.
By all
If you're
means.
coming through, please come on through. This will actually make great footage.
Well, I'm with the band and I was trying to find the bathroom. They said it was through that door.
Nope.
If you go
Yeah.
through here and through that door, that'd be fantastic.
wave at the
wait, what's your
camera
name?
on
Look in
your
the
way
camera
back.
and what's your name?
Rick,
Hi, Rick.
Bye, Rick.
Through that door right there, straight through. Yep, that one. Yep, on your left.
Well, this.
Alive. Well, that was great. Rick's even better than Bob the Fruit Fly. He's
Oh,
our
there
new
he-
member.
he's back.
He's back. He was chilling on the edge of my
So yeah,
glass.
going from something
This
super
doesn't
traditional.
look anything like a milkshake.
So going from a traditional South German lager to a French style ale, all the way to a modern American milkshake IPA. That's one of the things I love
Just
about
goes to
Wiseman.
show Americans mess everything up.
Or improve them. But no, I think that's one of the beautiful things about Wiseman is more than almost any brewery in the country, and certainly more than almost any brewery in North Carolina, they kill it when it comes to just doing a breadth of different styles.
And for beer, you have to do that. To do it
You
justice, you have
be
to cover
nimble
a
and
lot.
flexible, and everything they touch, they pretty much
You
do
have to.
fantastic, and they really do. They do just about everything.
Do you want to hear the quote?
Yes, hit us with it.
Meditation is not just blissing out under a mango tree. It completely changes your brain and therefore changes what you are. Matthew Ricard.
Mathau.
Couldn't get through a single one of these quotes without here.
Like they would
Oh,
never
man.
have known.
Yeah. Sorry.
Thanks, Josh.
No, you would have had one angry person at home yelling, "It's Matthew!"
I don't know. Is that how you pronounce it?
I don't know.
M-A-T-T-H-E-I-U?
I don't know.
I said it wrong.
None of us know. We
M-A-T-T-H-I-U.
may never know.
Okay, so we were looking at 6.2 and 55 IBUs.
So tell us a little about milkshake IPAs, Stephanie.
What do you think?
I haven't tried it yet. It's
Have you
brewed
ever
with
had a milkshake
lactose.
IPA?
I never have, but I've been really wanting to lately. So I'm kind of excited. But if I was going to drink a milkshake, I wouldn't want it to be tangerine
Or mango.
or mango. Yeah,
I love the
want,
fact
like,
that
chocolate or
milkshake in your
vanilla.
beer is not the point that you draw the line at. It's what fruit they decided to make the milkshake.
I'll admit that when I was first getting into craft beer and milkshake IPAs came out, I was just completely thrown for a loop. I was like,
Yeah.
I don't want any type of beer that reminds me of a milkshake.
It sounds
I was just
gross.
completely.
Sounds
It's
like,
not
you
an
know why?
appealing name.
It
No,
sounds
it's
like
not.
it would curdle.
Yeah.
It does sound like it would. Curdle.
Yeah. It's
Milkshake
two
IPAs
things,
do not curdle. Like,
two
let's
things
just
that
take
just
that away right
shouldn't
now.
be together.
No, it's a bad name.
It's
like
a bad name.
It's
but-
brewed with lactose, is what it means.
Yes. So basically, a milkshake IPA is just a hazy IPA typically that is brewed with lactose. Lactose, milk sugar.
Yep.
It's just an unfermentable sugar. So yeast, when it's making beer, can't actually eat it up. So it stays in the beer. And even though it's not actually sweet from a scientific standpoint, it gives the impression of sweetness and it fills out the body.
This guy.
So it makes it feel,
softens the beer too, rounds it
Yeah.
out.
It softens it.
It gives
Thank
it a
God I didn't
pillowy
say it
body.
was soft.
Yeah.
I feel like I would have got crushed.
It's wetter.
Well, if you try, like if you drink a vanilla milkshake, it's soft on the palate. You have that same type of palate feel when you
Okay,
drink
so
these
let's
beers.
smell
They
it.
tend to be pillowy, and typically milkshakes will have fruit almost by default of some
This
sort.
smells like citrus.
It does. It smells exactly like mango tangerine and maybe just a little bit of like that vanilla-y kind of
Vanilla-y.
milky quality,
Yep.
which is, there's no vanilla in there, but it is a pretty typical note you can get out of lactose just by association.
I was gonna say
It's not
cheers.
overly
Oh, sorry,
fruity.
sorry.
We're
I
terrible
always
at this.
forget.
But I will say it's not overly aggressive on the nose. Like it's not going to kill you with just a ton of fruit flavor. You can definitely get it.
It's not
but
gonna like
not
punch you in the
aggressive.
face.
Wow,
with
you
mango.
More
definitely
like a
get them.
kiss on the cheek than a kick to the teeth.
Yeah.
But
Kiss on the cheek instead of a kick to the teeth. I like it.
It's a good expression.
Well said. You definitely get the mango and the tangerine in there.
it's very fruit forward, but not. It's not like drinking fruit juice.
I gotta be honest. First taste, this is a nope for me.
A hard
Which
note.
is actually kind of surprising. I mean, typically with IPAs, you tend to like the hazies. You tend to like
I
something
do
that's
like
a
the
little on
hazy.
the
There's
juicy
something
side.
off about this. Not that it's done badly.
And that lactose
Preference.
flavor does tend to be one of those things that either really turns people
But I
off
like
or
the other
you
lactose
either really
ones
like
we've
it or
had.
you really hate it.
Yeah, well, it's also might
What's
be one
it just
of
a
those things.
lactose one versus a milkshake one? Like, what's the difference?
So if a hazy IPA has lactose and typically fruit, then it's a milkshake IPA. It's not a defined style. It's more of a catch-all for anything that fits that description.
Okay.
But there are other beers like milk stouts have lactose in them.
Yeah, I like
So,
those kind of things.
yeah.
I
Yeah,
like
a lot
the
of
lactose,
imperial
like that
stouts will have
smoothness
lactose.
that you get from it, kind of.
It also might be one of those things where it's your associations with that kind of smooth, creamy quality. Like I'm not a big creamy plus fruit person, but I know some people who love creamy fruit flavors. I
Peaches and
tend to-
cream?
Yeah, like I'm not a big peaches and cream guy. I love peaches, love cream, don't like them together. Whereas some people associate it more with like vanilla, chocolate, cinnamon,
Yeah.
other like dark flavors.
Sure.
Those to me are
Tends to be right.
like warmer flavors.
Yeah,
Warmer
it's a good
Am
description.
I gonna get crap? Okay,
No,
see,
no, no,
hey,
it's-
he
it's
liked
how
it,
you-
Josh.
I agree.
Oh, shut up! You were laughing.
Yeah,
I was
that-
gonna say like
I
I'm
think
not
of
a-
them as darker flavors, but no, it's all the same thing. They feel qualitatively different than something fresh and bright like fruit or herbs.
when it's used. I feel like if it's used the right way, it can be done really well. Like for example, in the milk stouts, you occasionally will see the lactose. I've also seen it in some Berliner Weisses where they're going for a pastry or a cobbler type
A lot of the
feel.
big.
Oh, I
fruited
like
Yeah.
those
will
ones
do.
too. I like
Yeah.
those pastry ones.
So
we had.
these
case, I
though,
got
the milkshake IPAs, they're hit or miss for me. Sometimes
Yeah.
I'm like, hey, this.
What do you
one-
think of this one, Josh?
I don't
Come
know.
on, Jimmy Fallon.
If you're gonna do, I'm like,
I thought we agreed he was Mr. Rogers.
if you're gonna, I need to wear the cardigan.
You do need to wear the
do.
and
cardigan.
then the
Oh, man,
shoes.
that has to happen.
Won't
Change
you
your
be my
shoes,
neighbor?
yeah.
No, I'm like, if you're gonna do a milkshake IPA, I almost want it to be like some type of appeal to history or society, like a creamsicle. Like make
Yes.
a creamsicle beer, like the
Tie in
orange
with those sense
Like
memories.
a dessert
Yeah,
kind of
yeah.
thing. I agree. I think there's something about that word
Yeah,
that isn't.
has association.
Yes, it does.
it's
That's fair.
your brain kind of plays some tricks on you.
So
When
take
is the last
yourself-
time you've ever been to a diner that had a mango tangerine? Why can't I say that word?
I don't know. That has been tough for you the whole day.
Tangerine? It doesn't
Yeah,
even
no, you
sound
nailed
right when
it.
I'm saying it right. Tangerine?
That's right.
Pour me another.
No, I think you need to
Mango-
finish what you
A
got.
mango tangerine milkshake. Don't even say the IPA. Like
This
that
milk-
doesn't sound good.
This milkshake doesn't bring boys to the yard.
I'm super
We could not go through
mad
this episode
that
without
that
that
wasn't
coming
my
from
Oh,
you.
no,
joke.
that had to come up at some
It
point.
should have been my joke though. I'm sorry.
really
Thank
should.
you, Josh.
Josh, we have both failed you.
We did.
As a straight man, burden shouldn't have fallen on you.
It's true. It's true.
Oh man.
Yeah.
It seems
I
like-
love
Take
Wiseman.
yourself away from the
Okay,
descriptor of
try and stop
milkshake.
thinking
Just
of the
think of it
milkshake.
objectively as
Because I
what
want
it
like
is.
a big
Because you're
thick
not wrong.
straw and like that metal cup
Yeah.
with the leftovers.
You know,
Oh, yeah.
as soon as we get out of here, I'm getting.
Oh,
There you go.
I know.
So take yourself away from
Okay,
it. Tell me a
okay,
little
okay.
about.
Let me take a journey.
Okay, everybody, quiet on
No,
set.
we don't need to be quiet. You guys talk amongst yourselves. I'll just take a moment.
As a beer in and of itself, and I say this as someone who's not a big fan of lactose in beers. It just, I got nothing against it. I'm just not a huge fan of the flavor of it.
Sure.
and the mouthfeel that it brings, I think it's pretty well balanced because it's not oversweet. Some of these milkshake IPAs go so oversweet.
Oh yeah, that's true.
It is fruit forward, but it's not so juicy to where you feel like you'd be better off just drinking fruit juice. I think what they went for, they nailed. It's just not necessarily something I'm looking for.
Something
You know what
you're
I
not going to
could do
reach
with
for.
this? I
Make
could
a float.
I could put some champagne in it, make a mimosa.
This would actually make a fantastic. That's actually a really good idea.
This would
Good
make a
idea.
great beer. I took myself away from the milkshake, Aaron.
And beer mosas are a thing.
They are.
This is your
Sugar
go-to
Creek
beer
actually
mosa.
does
Yeah, we should
This is
definitely
it.
do beer.
Beer
We're doing a
mosas.
beer mosa episode at some point in time.
Let's do it. Let's do
Bring
it.
us some champagne.
Yeah, it won't even be like an actual episode of like, reviewing beers. It's just us getting drunk on camera.
No.
So basically a normal
We'll review
episode.
it. Of course, we'll share our thoughts. That's called
Exactly. My
reviewing.
thought is I'm drunk.
Yeah.
Blissed
Blissed
out.
out.
But I do think it shows that they can play in these different worlds.
Yeah.
And at least they're going to hit what they're aiming for. And even if it's not necessarily something I'd want to drink, I respect the hell out of what they're doing.
I mean, look at the variety. I mean, like you said, you go traditional German, France, and now something crazy American.
Short of adding an
Crazy
imperial stout in
Americans.
here, you'd have a hard
Hitting
time.
a
So
wide
this
gambit
still
and
isn't-
doing it well.
Yeah.
That's the key.
Are we on to final thoughts?
I think we're on to final thoughts.
This
I'm gonna
one,
go
of
out
course,
on a
isn't my jam.
long limb and say that this is probably all of our least favorite.
Oh, it's all of our least favorite? Oh, okay.
I think so.
Sure.
And I'm going to go out on a long limb and say this was probably all of our favorite.
Yes.
So
It's not a
But
long
that one
limb.
was also really
it's
good.
really not. This was also fantastic. I thought they
really
nailed
good.
that. I love the guys over at Mason Jar. Adam, looking at you, buddy.
You weren't looking at him. You were looking down here. Look at him and say hi.
Adam, looking at you, buddy. But no, I thought they nailed this. I thought they did a really good job. But when you get something that's such a rare style,
Gosh,
Oh,
so
yeah.
good.
done so well,
So well.
and I really want to just reiterate
Wiseman.
again: if you see something that is a style you don't recognize,
Beer Day in particular.
Beer Day in particular, Stephanie's gonna love it.
I'm
but-
freaking all about a
Beer to
beer to
somethings.
beer.
But just give them a try. Don't be afraid to. I mean, we have a little Google machine in our pocket, every single one of us. Look it up, take a look, and remember, trying a new beer is
You
a
don't
pretty
need to
low
look it
risk
up.
adventure.
You don't need to look it up. Just go to beer.withme. What is our thing?
You were
Oh,
served
man.
up perfectly, and
Yeah, and can you believe she maintains our website?
I'm the website person.
Beerwith.me.
and watching a couple more episodes. You'll figure it all out.
Oh man, but yeah, no. Try new beer. Try beer you don't recognize. Explore a little.
That's what it's about.
Every new beer is an adventure, and when you get a brewery that you can trust, then you know that no matter what it is, it's probably going to
That's
be
well
worth it.
said.
Unless it's a milkshake.
Unless it's a milkshake.
But you know what, guys? You know what's the only thing better than a beer?
a beer
A
with
beer
friends.
with friends. I love the fact she teed us up. That way she wouldn't have
Yes.
to respond on that.
Cheers, guys.
And if you'd like other great content, go ahead and check us out at www.beerwith.me.
Beerwith.me.
Me.
Cheers, guys.
Take care.